Hello, my fans. Welcome to Alpharetta, Georgia. My name is Bart. His name is Tom. 2 collars. And away we go. And hello, here we are. This is my Pro League. Welcome to Atlanta, guys. It's a beautiful Saturday. My hopes and dreams and thoughts and prayers are with Fnatic as they go and take on Myrmidons in game number 1 here. And this is a game that Fnatic cannot afford to lose.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting one coming forward. I mean, Myrmidons is a strong team. You guys know that I do like this squad. But going up against Fnatic in what I've predicted to be Fnatic's week. I think that this is the week that Fnatic gets their ball rolling and will sort of present themselves as the team that we're used to seeing.
Well, they need to do it here because Myrmidons looking like they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack or better team, and Fnatic needs to prove that they are above those positions. Those right. 3rd, 4th, 5th positions. The rest of the schedule today, you got Epsilon and Justice coming up in Europe, and then we'll be moving on to North America. So I believe it'll be me and Tom for the first set in Europe, and then it'll be myself and Adonis for the second set in Europe.
Adonis is the epitome of an analyst, I think.
Oh, man. That horse is just poorly beaten and bloodied by this point. But so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got your picks in as we are about to rock and roll into the game. And as we mentioned, it's Fnatic versus Myrmidons. We'll take a look at the first squad up, Fnatic. And, well, as you see as the pictures come up here, Maniakk, Twiggy, Zyrhoes, Badgah, and Realzx. Twig, it's a big question mark for him. I haven't really seen it happen in a long time for Twig in a way. I mean, we've seen a couple good performances here and there, but, I mean, you know, blind dog gets a bone every once in a while, I guess. I mean, but overall, he's been consistently mediocre, I'd say.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of a step up last week, particularly in the Thor game that you can take home with the 7-2 and 11 slash line, if I'm not mistaken. And even on the game before that, his personal slash line wasn't too perfect, but he did the things that he's supposed to do that we haven't been
He's a professional player, right? When he gets a good start and he's able to snowball in the Kuangs and the Thors, and really any jungler, Arachnes back in the day, right? That was the last time we really saw him being popular, was then, but even still, like, he's definitely been the weak link for me for 4 or 5 months now on this Fnatic squad, pretty much after the role swap. And maybe that's a little bit due to Zyrhoes overperforming so much as a mid laner. he really transitioned like amazingly well, and maybe it's more accurate to say that Twig got the brunt of that role swap more than anything else. But let's move on to the second team here in Europe, certainly not the least, as Myrmidons have come crashing like a wave into the scene here, as, well, they're led, for me, by LeMoGow and Dardez. These are the 2 players that have had the most impact that we didn't know much about coming into the split.
Right.
And then, of course, Jermain and Psiyo there in the mid lane. Psiyo, speaking of hit and miss, Psiyo definitely one of those. And he's also one that kind of rides the roller coaster of his own tilt, more or less.
That's really the key. Psiyo's always been an emotional player, and we used to say that a lot more than we do now, because players have frankly just gotten used to being professionals and have sort of gotten that short memory that we need a lot of the pros to have. Psiyo historically still has that. We'll see how it works out. We do have Jermain back on this team. He wasn't we had saw a sub last week. Tins had taken over the support role, moving Dardez to ADC, but today we'll see Jermain, the original hunter, show up, and no surprise here for me, Bart. We're going to see the hell ban right away out of Fnatic.
I got to tell you, all these hell bans make my life a lot harder, because anytime I play with Kelly, she wants to pick hell, and now I can't tell her that no one plays hell. Hell's bad. Don't do it. Because she always loses the lane. Shout out to Kelly. I know you're watching.
Last time I played with Kelly, she carried on hell. I know. And that's the story. With getting curse down from 100% to 65.
Yeah.
I mean, hell's the real deal.
Yeah, that's why you see that ban. That's why I wouldn't say that's maybe in a vacuum why you see Serket banned more and more often these days, but I mean, she's still a very powerful character, but bringing the anti-heal to the table. Odin also, you're seeing kind of move up the ranks in terms of priority for picking and banning. Isis banned out as well. That's the old Psiyo Isis, known and feared and respected and ranked.
It's actually amusing. The Isis is definitely a strong character, but Psiyo has been performing recently better on Janus.
They will first pick Janus, I would say, if it's available in the pool. I would be actually shocked to see Myrmidons not select Janus outright. Fnatic, they've left Khepri open, however, has the Myrmidons and Fnatic with an opportunity to pick up the bug here if they want it. If not, who else are you looking at for a first pick?
There's a lot of different options for Fnatic. I want to talk about this last ban by Myrmidons, so very, very smart. As I said, Khepri is going to be picked, so Badgah's been practicing the new god. Okay. Congratulations. But the Thor is what got CaptainTwig's balls rolling sort of last week. So if he wants to continue on that upward swing, Myrmidons kind of, you're going to have to work at it. We're not going to give you your easy god, the god you're used to playing well. So Thor banned out. Khepri on the left. Odin in response by Myrmidons on the right side. Most likely in the support role, I'd say.
Well, this indicates to me that they're going to run a healing composition as they've banned out the Sarkett and taken the Odin. Osiris, the only, I believe the only 100% anti-healer left in the pool would be Osiris, which is still obviously available for Fnatic and something that is very well playable.
There's Janus.
On the side of Maniakk. Janus, yeah, Janus was pretty much expected there. Odin is the surprise first pick, though, out of Myrmidons. I don't know. He's still a little bit hard to lane, I think, is the main issue with Odin. Those first 3-4 minutes can be really difficult for you.
He can also play in the jungle, and I mean, Dark Dodo, very new to this squad, has yet to see an SPL win, actually. Myrmidons got their 2 wins with Get Fisher on the team, so Dark Dodo has a little bit to prove. Maybe he'll be taking the Odin into the jungle. Neith, on the left-hand side, going to be picked up for the Hunter on Fnatic.
Not sure why the Neith here.
So early.
Well, there's not a lot of really, we'll say, effective counters in the Hunter role that you can pick to abuse the fact that Neith is picked this early. But, of course, the Dragon King is the real big question mark here. This is, I believe, the furthest we've seen him drop really all split. I
mean, he's been a top pick, top ban, #1 type character for a long time now. And nothing's really changed. He's still just as strong, Bart. So.
And, well, has Khepri lost a game yet? I don't think. Oh, they did. They lost 1 game yesterday. Cognitive Jigs lost on the Khepri. So. And as we heard Incon mention in his interview, the big deficiency that Khepri has is he doesn't bring a lot of team fight to the table.
Right.
Well, Odin certainly does. They have the double banish out of Janus and Freya as well, which is pretty good tools to deal with the Khepri. Just keep him out of the fight. Don't let him cast that ultimate in pivotal positions. But already Kuang very slippery. Khepri likely to be forced to save this Neith more often than not, as she's currently the least mobile. But the banning phase, second banning phase coming through. Aphrodite is removed by Myrmidons. And that's just, you got to respect this kind of cheesy no one ever dies composition.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Especially if you go back to history, Maniakk likes healers. Maniakk plays a great Aphrodite. Maniakk plays a great Chunga. So these are things that you sort of have to remember and think about. And we'll see the Hades being banned out by Fnatic. So Myrmidons will get 1 pick into this one. And then what I want to see out of Fnatic in their next picking phase, Bart, is I need to see some sort of initiation, whether it be a chalk or a solo lane.
How about Bellona?
Something. Bellona, exactly. That's what I need to see. I need to see a big jump, a big circle, something that says, we are going to fight. Because right now, Kuang, Neith, Khepri, not doing it for me for this comp.
Yeah, and you're kind of waiting for this next pick to come in and expecting something with some AoE. Bellona is going to be the selection from Myrmidons, and, well, they've left open still a swing pick. The Odin could be the support for the Freya. He could also go to the jungle, I suppose, or be the solo laner. Bellona also can fit all those roles as well, so they still have the option to pick up the Geb or the Sylvanas or some kind of big disruptive teamfight ultimate if they deem necessary in the Son of Myrmidons, but it will not be in the form of a Hades for LeMoGow, and, well, I would caution any team to let Hades through against LeMoGow.
So LeMoGow's been played twice, or Hades has been played twice by LeMoGow as the Sun Wukong picked up by Fnatic, and the first time went fantastic. Second time not so swimming. 0-4-1 on that Hades by LeMoGow. So, I mean, if you're going to let that character get through, you're also going to understand what LeMoGow can do with it, and you're going to focus it. So, Anhur and Sun Wukong being picked up. Very, very interesting. Where are we going to see the Neith? Because the Anhur is definitely going to
the Neith will be the solo. Okay, Neith will be the mid laner, I would say, for Zyrhoes, given this. Sun Wukong could mid pretty easily as well, I think. Blue Sun Pendant giving him a lot of clear. Yep. He really benefited the most probably from the Blue Sun Pendant changes.
Oh, yeah.
On the side of Fnatic here this draft, I mean, they've taken 3 of the most probably highly contested individual picks in Khepri, Kuang, and Sun Wukong. But back on the side of Myrmidons, it is Kumbhakarna. The sleepy giant will be entering the battlefield. Big-time damage buff.
Oh,
coming in since the last patch.
I mean, Kumbhakarna, we're likely going to see this guy in the support role, but Kumbhakarna comes through with, at max level, at level 20, he can just annihilate when it comes to small, squishier characters, whether it be hunters or mages or whatnot. And we will see LeMoGow playing the solo lane. Odin, Dardez will play that Kumbhakarna. So one of the things, we haven't seen Kumbhakarna played a lot, but with that damage buff, we'll see him a little bit more. But the identity of Kumbha truly isn't the damage, it's the amount of peel and crowd control that he really brings.
But the one thing he doesn't bring to the table much is that offensive AoE capability.
Right.
And that's what we were kind of calling for inside of Myrmidons. So They are going to be a little bit damage anemic here. It's going to come down to Psiyo and Jermain, obviously being the mid lane and Hunter cores, but maybe more so than normal, Jermain is going to have his kind of head is on the chopping block here to deal the damage, because Dardez, well, while being a single target damage beast, doesn't bring so much AoE, and so LeMoGow, he's going to be forced to initiate. The combo is going to be following up to try to CC out the back line. And then it's going to come down to those cores, Dodo, Psiyo, and Jermain. Can they get it done versus the Fnatic squad? But, Tom, it's that time again to introduce the squads as we pass the 0-second mark. Fnatic will be the blue team at the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of the spectator UI. Maniakk will be taking Sun Wukong to the solo lane. Twig in the jungle is Kuang. Zyrhoes, he's mid lane. Neith, Badgah, and Realzx will duo up as Khepri and Anhur. And, well, we've seen the power of this dual lane before. You snatch them back and then pillar stun them.
Oh, yeah.
And it can be very, very effective. Myrmidons, they're the red squad, top of the minimap, right side of the spectator UI. They're going to be invaded here by Fnatic, but it looks like they're clear maybe in time. It's LeMoGow, Dodo, Psiyo, Dardez, and Jermain.
And the purple buff going to be pushed on right here, but Myrmidons shows up, and it's just enough to scare their opponent away. So nothing earned by the squad of Fnatic by getting aggressive.
One thing on the side of Fnatic that is worth taking note of here is a lot of Boots 1 started up for them. You got the Boots 1 on her, the Boots 1 Sun Wukong, and the Boots 1 on Khepri. So over any early actives, like you see the blink on Kumbha, or you've seen creeping curses be pretty popular for Guardians at rank 1 as well.
Yeah, creeping curses allow you to really get that early kill. Fnatic not looking for it, although...
Oh, they got plenty of kill potential, I think, between the Khepri and the Anhur is the idea here.
Yep.
But do the boots really add much? No, it just kind of helps you progress towards the cooldown boots, or the Traveler's boots will be coming the way of Khepri. Maniakk, really, he's being had the better of by LeMoGow here. Holy moly, that's a pretty big HP swing. Bird Bomb, obviously a very, very effective clearing tool through level 3 through about level 6. But once you get about level 6, 7, Sun Wukong, Jingo Bang will be just fine in clearing. Especially
with that Bluestone Pendant we talked about. It's a newer item, just put into this patch. Right now, Maniakk going to be forced out. Basically, it will just add 30 damage on top of whatever you already do. Huge rotation on the left-hand side. Khepri in a little bit of trouble.
We got a 3v3 very early on. Fnatic's going to pin back 1, but now the 4th comes in. Psiyo, they really need to get this kill to make this rotation worthwhile for the mid laner. That slow should be enough to do it. Yes, Badgah will go down. They'll try to get their turn kill, and Dardez not going to be there. The portal will drop Kuang down, and just no HP on the jungler for Fnatic. Can't find the tower at level 4 with Bellona, but the jungler and mid laner rotate over for a successful gank. 2 kills picked up for Myrmidons as the 1st and 2nd blood.
Huge rotation coming out from Myrmidons there very early. I mean, sometimes we see the jungler come over to dual lane at 2 minutes apart, but to see 4 people in one lane this early is definitely not something we call average. It's not what we see every day, but Myrmidons make it count, and they pick up not just the 1st blood, but also another kill on top of it, which I think is the very important part.
Red Pot and Bluestone with the Bird Bomb is just a tremendous amount of damage on the side of the Odin.
You're just able to delete these minions. Just jump in and they're gone.
Yeah, much less the Sun Wukong, who normally we see as this super, super effective lane dominator. Yesterday, questioning what you can pick to stop him, and we've seen a couple of options come out. The Mystical Mail Rush on Divios for tier worked fairly well. And Odin just taking the early game aggression to the Sun Wukong has at least given LeMoGow some breathing room for the first few minutes here on his Odin.
But what, like you said, should be true, it's just a matter of time. Once we see the Sun Wukong get a couple more items on, and Odin will, sort of fall behind as far as effectiveness with the clear. The Jingo Bang should be able to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's the levels. Once he gets that level 7, he gets closer and closer to that max level cudgel on Sun Wukong. Then he can clear the wave really safely. Bird Bomb becomes less of a threat, and Odin, doesn't have much kill potential. As the Somersault Cloud can always take Sun Wukong out of the ring.
The ring, which is there.
And, yeah, we'll see that
Somersault
demonstrated
Cloud
here.
right there. Thank you, Professor. And Maniakk just going to go ahead and back right here in LeMoGow's face. LeMoGow might try to stop, but no. Most likely we'll see the teleport being built. Allow him to transverse the map at his will. Right-hand side Harpies, go to Myrmidons.
Zyrhoes here in the mid lane. He's had a pretty successful... Oh, here we go. There's going to be an attempt in the mid lane. Again, the root being channeled is going to hit Neith, but not much they can follow up with there. Twig, he's going to clone away. Now it's Badgah going in aggressively. Jermain, he has a Neith arrow sitting underneath him. And just off the mark there was Psiyo with his ultimate as well. They're going to still try for the rotation. Bellona would have to force the ultimate as well as her dash to make anything out of that. Not going to be worth it to try to pick up Realzx. Disperse was off cooldown as well. Not that they would have known that, but we do. And still just 2 kills for Myrmidons.
Unfortunately for Fnatic, unable to put themselves on the board. That looked like it should have been a kill, but Realzx pulled the trigger a little bit too soon on that Desert Fury, so with Freya in the air, avoids all of the damage. If he had waited a second, she lands, gets hit by the Neith arrow, for sure dead, but Fnatic just a little bit too trigger happy.
We're approaching 5 minutes now in this game. It's just been that little spat of early aggression from Myrmidons. A failed attempt, as we just saw from Fnatic there, and back to the farming as the camps are coming back up as we get closer and closer to that 5th minute. Mid-camps will be back up in about a minute. We'll see the contention there again, but for now, it's farming around the map, and you'll see Myrmidons falling back to split the camps. Janus going over to the red to split with Freya. They'll pick up the purple as well with the support. Look at minion kills here. It's Zyrhoes leading all players on Neith in the mid lane, followed just behind by Psiyo. Just a few last hits behind. The Soul Landers coming in next, followed by the Hunters. So pretty much even across the board here. We're going to have a gank attempt over on the right side. They found Odin slightly out of tower. Twig can't take this. Will they get enough? Yes, the execute is going to come through. Maniakk, he's going to try 2 more tower shots. Yeah, not going to be in time. You know, maybe Twig can immediately fall back down and tank a shot out for him, but not going to happen just yet. Twig, he will find himself in a little bit of trouble, but Water Clone, it's invisible, and he blinks, and away he goes.
Yeah, so the Odin Rain coming in the clutch, getting the martyrdom kill for the Soul Lander on the side of Myrmidons. But that kill will put Fnatic on the board. So the first kill for the yellow and black on their jungler, which is not a bad sign. You definitely want this Kuang to sort of get rolling. That's what he does, because just when your assassin, when your burst assassin doesn't get online, it sort of takes away the whole, why are you playing the assassin if you can't burst somebody down?
Yeah, it's also important for Kuang to get a kill here. You'll see he'll be falling back and picking up what should be the remainder of his boots. Yeah, pen boots now online, but getting a kill before you get those pen boots allows him to go and pick up a couple of active items as well. He'll get the beads one in the blink. And if you're forced back before you can finish off the pen boots or with only enough gold just to get the boots, you know, then you really have to make another kill happen really, really quickly. But now, CaptainTwig's bought himself a bit of time. He can go, he can farm, and he can maybe look to set up a kill on the other side of the map as well, where it's a little more treacherous than the solo lane.
And, you know, he's struggling to keep up with his opponent jungler. Don't forget, Dark Dodo not only got the first blood, but has a second kill as well. So that Bellona looking really strong right now. 2 levels above where Kuang is right now, and a whole 700 gold over Twig.
Yeah, and usually I'm not a huge fan of the Bellona jungle, but here, with the rotations out of the Janus as well, they've had enough damage and had enough CC to get the kill. Ultimate's going to come out from Dardez on the backside. He's going to keep the Kuang out of the fight best he can. He's going to root him as well, but it's Bellona forced to go over the wall. Desert Fury's going to hit. Line there from Realzx. Dodo is dead. Now LeMoGow's going to try to surge back in with the bird bomb, but Sun Wukong's a bit too tanky. He'll go up into the somersault cloud. It's a full-on retreat from Fnatic, but Maniakk can re-engage if he wants to, and he does not. But star of that one is Realzx with the Desert Fury blind through the wall, sniping down Dodo.
That was just an awesome play. I mean, he forced Bellona out of the fight, forced the ultimate before it could really affect that. If Dark Dodo had ulted onto the team fight on top of Fnatic, that fight might have gone a completely different way. But Realzx makes the rotation all the way from the long lane before Freya, which is the important part, shows up, gets Bellona to jump over the wall, and then puts a cherry on top by getting, as you said, the blind Desert Fury kill through the wall. A little bit of flash, a little bit of necessity. All in all, Fnatic looking strong here.
Yeah, now with that kill, he's a good bit ahead of the Freya, who has 2 assists to her name, but he's got about the 100 gold advantage. He'll have the lifesteal online as well. He's gone for the Soul Eater build up here. Executioner likely coming right after this item, and once he has that online, Freya will be just finishing off her pen boots, and it'll be that classic power spike for the physical hunter. Anhur with the built-up penetration as well already is very, very effective against the lifesteal passive of Freya. So all things told, it's really one of the best matchups you can put up against the Freya is the Anhur. He has a lot of the tools necessary to deal with this god.
If only he had a dot.
Right.
Freya's tend to be very afraid of dots because Valkyrie's discretion, as we saw early in the game, will prevent the damage coming out from Desert Fury because, well, you're just not there to take it. Right side, Maniakk getting very aggressive, but Dark Dodo lurking in the jungle. We'll see if him being pushed up this far is going to be a mistake.
And this is where the Odin really becomes pretty underwhelming. His in-hand damage isn't really much to speak of as he's rushing down the Mystical Mail. Gold Fury is going to be free from Fnatic here, completely unspotted. And that's what you see basically anytime there's a failed gank attempt on the far right side of the map. But in this case, you know, in noticing that Bellona was there, it's an easy peasy pickup. Not really that they had any chance of getting that gank anyway.
I mean, Maniakk forces the hand of the Bellona. Not necessarily. The ganks aren't always for kills, right? It's sometimes to give some breathing room. And now with the power swing going the way of Wukong, so, you know, now that we're level 11, Wukong is the push. He's going to push Odin up on his tower. Bellona comes in, and as I said, Maniakk sort of forces the hand of Bellona to come in and push him off, give his partner some breathing room, and that allows Fnatic to go ahead and take the first gold free of the game all by themselves.
Yeah, Wukong, all this, you know, and as this continues to go on and on, just the God is just so much better than Odin later on in the game. His ability to disrupt the backline, he has real kill potential as well. Odin really doesn't, and not to mention Wukong has maybe, like, he's really up there for the best warrior passives in the game.
Sure, but I mean, it's hard to put a sharp value on that ring. Sometimes it's absolutely awful, and other times it will win you the game by preventing the opponent to come in to steal Fire Giant. So it's really up or down which way Odin goes in the late game.
It's okay. I mean, the thing is that Fnatic doesn't have any big core healers that's going to shut down, which is a lot of what the ring does. In terms of just locking people down, the high priority targets are going to be able to get out of it, no problem. The only really guaranteed kill inside the ring is Zyrhoes if they can get him. But with mid lane farm, he's got plenty of levels. He's still not an easy target to gank. Not to mention, they can't leave Wukong here. Now Mystical Mail is done on the Odin. That gives him a little bit of breathing room, as you mentioned, into this lane. He'll be able to go toe-to-toe with Wukong more. I would say laying back in his favor, at least for the moment. But Wukong closing in pretty quickly on a Mystical Mail of his own. And then things fall back the other way. And LeMoGow, this isn't going to help at all. Not even forced to use the ultimate here at all is the Kuang. He does get clipped by the Janus ultimate. Now finds himself in trouble. He'll juke the Unstable Vortex, and he's going to knock him up with his ultimate. Neith ultimate is going to come through as well. Not going to be blocked up by Dark Dodo. A wise use of the Somersault Cloud of Maniakk there, though, as Dodo could have put a hurting out on him.
Smart retreat, especially with that Neith ult coming out onto the Soul Laner bar. It's very easy to decide to go for that.
I would have gone in.
Exactly. And that's why we don't play in the
That's right, yeah, that's why. Those that can't do commentating.
Khepri making her way to the left-hand side is on her back boxes. The Freya 1v1, 12 and 12 on those two characters. So levels are even. Gold separated in the Hunter role by about 400 gold. Nothing too large. Anhur just sort of making a statement and getting ready to do what he can.
Quick little pause here. We'll be right back in the action in just a moment, but Fnatic, they're starting to take back the momentum in this game. It was a good, strong opening by Myrmidons.
Which is sort of what you expect out of an Odin, right? Odin comes through and, I mean, level 3, level 4, if I'm not mistaken, Bird Bomb actually just one-shots a back Harpy camp. So, you know, Odin is, we sort of expect this push early on, especially with some of the other characters. But what I really want to talk about, honestly, Bart, because we mentioned it, we glossed over it, but now's not the time to gloss over it. That was last split. Neith mid. Neith mid got a lot of time in the sun mainly because of the Heartseeker start and able to do that. With Heartseeker largely changed so that virtually nobody takes it, unless Cyclone has above 20 kills. Does this Neith still fit in the mid?
I think it's, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, the clear's there, certainly. I mean, she's a little unsafe, but no less safe than, say, a Poseidon or something like that. I mean, she does have the lead to avoid some damage. It's not just raw movement speed. And you know, with the levels, you know, once she gets level 9, she's no different than a mage. She's essentially a mage at that point. So,
I actually have personally always loved the Neith mid. I think the ability of having World Weaver virtually anywhere, anytime is such a powerful tool for teams to use in team fights or in laning phase.
Yeah, so it looks like actually 2 pauses were used there, was why you saw the pause come up twice. So,
okay.
Fnatic, the only reason I bring that up is Fnatic is down to their final pause.
Uh-oh.
You only got 3 pauses, and each pause can only go up to 3 minutes long. So I believe it was Maniakk that had the connection issue there. So keep an eye on that Wukong, and if you see him running into the enemy tower, then you know that he may have dropped out again. Mid
lane, a little bit of aggression. We do see the trifecta, support, jungle, and mid, that we see so often here in this middle lane from Myrmidons. Fnatic spread out a little bit, but that's because Kuang is soloing the left Harpies.
Well, there's just a whole bunch of nothing around the map right now. Fnatic is really just looking to strangle out Myrmidons at this point. All the lanes are really, really pushed up, and all the Fnatic heroes are right underneath those towers. Camps will be coming back up here on their 4th rotation, it looks like. And Fnatic's in a pretty good spot to contest one of them. It looks like Kuang sniffing out the red buff here. Khepri's over to the right side picking up the mid camps. LeMoGow, he's going to get cat stunned there. I don't think there's much kill potential.
Oh, with the help of the World Weaver there certainly
that's a kill. No problem.
Zyrhoes going to pick that up from all the way from the mid lane.
Oh. Well beads by Twig there. He had already used his water clone to leap out. He's not going to have another one for 10 seconds, so he's going to be kind of worried about going in. Psiyo rooted out. They're going to body block away the portal as well, and he's going to say, okay, well, I got another one.
I got another portal.
Ultimate used through space and time to banish out Janus.
Love that positioning from Fnatic to just physically block the way out. That's how you want to deal with a Janus, because he literally can walk through walls. If you can't cripple him, you can block his way into the portal. Fnatic knows that. They force him out of the lane. Fnatic goes ahead, takes the mid tower, and they shade over Gold Fury down. They'll look directly at their opponent's jungle.
Very close there from Twig, nearly able to secure that kill onto Psiyo. Just off, ran out of dragons, unfortunately. Maybe that last one could have been enough to tick and find that kill, but Transcendence and Soul Eater done on the Neith. The Soul Eater also available on Anhur, so they'll be spreading out that the lifesteal aura, giving a bit of physical power as well around the map. Sun Wukong really the main benefit of this. Execution really done as well on the Anhur, and that's if that gets up before these pen boots for Freya. It's the lane is very, very difficult for her to contest at all. And once again, Fnatic, they're baiting this completely. In a lot of trouble is Jermain. He's going to beads away the pluck, it looks like, out of Badgah. He's pinned. In-hand's coming through. He's going to be forcing the ultimate. There it is. Last Dragon, not enough. Realzx, he's just going to leap forward, and Desert Fury will secure the kill. Psiyo and Stable Vortex off the mark. Kumba's going to go ahead and knock up, and Realzx, one set of beads is going to get rid of 2 ultimate CCs. He's going to get the protection buff as well from Khepri and be able to turn around and fight. Now the Desert Fury's down. That's the bonus. I'm sorry, the Shifting Sands bonus damage off the pillar. Kill credited to Maniakk as well there. LeMoGow, he's going to be forced to jump back into his tower. Shield erased by the Kuang burst.
Man, so Fnatic's Hunter, Realzx, going to be fooled once but not twice. This time saves the Desert Fury from after Freya comes down from the sky, gets that kill. One of the things that I've always liked about Realzx is the second gold tier of the game will go to Fnatic after that engagement, is that he's not afraid to turn and fight. Anhur was so low, but he has every idea of where the threats are coming from. He's very low HP, 10, 15%, but understands that his threats are in front of him, not behind him, so he stays in the fight max distance and keeps pumping out damage. It's so important for your Hunter to be able to do.
Soul Eater's factoring in pretty heavily there as well. It's the lifesteal plus the aura. The aura is a protection and power aura. They don't stack, but just the bonus protections coming the way of Realzx, and the rest of the team just allows them to stand and fight in that situation for a little bit longer with a little bit more confidence than they would normally. Plus, obviously, the lifesteal from the item helps out quite a bit.
Exactly. And, you know, he had just a little bit of health, and guess what Soul Eater gives you? Just a little bit of health.
Yep.
So able to hang on there by a new item swap that we've seen for the past, well, for the entirety of the fall split, I'd say. The item recently got a little bit of love in the adjustment department.
And as long as Fnatic is still able to take these 3 4-man skirmishes, they'll continue to control this game. Now, the minute that Myrmidons can force team fights is where Fnatic's going to have their work cut out for them, because they have a lot of single target damage and very little AoE damage. But for now, they're forcing Myrmidons to play their game nicely. I
mean, yes, the lead is very, very strong, 16.5 in. Fnatic's leading by about 6,000 gold, 4 kills, give or take. Maniakk caught out in the solo lane just a little bit, but should be largely all right. Level 17 Sun Wukong.
Bellona just tickling him, even with that bludgeon. Maniakk really not in any trouble. They'll force out the ultimate, which I guess that's a small victory here. Janus, he's going to try to pour into the fight here. Going to get the damage on the Realzx, but not the full amount of damage he was looking for. Zyrhoes is here as well. Blinking to the backside is Kuang. He's looking for a couple of kills. His ultimate's going to be negated, however, it looked like there from Psiyo. No, he does still have it available. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that was the water clone in the position.
Knew that it was the ultimate would have been baited out.
Did he get Psiyo's beads? He did, yeah. He got Psiyo's Aegis, I'm sorry, I think it was. Yes. Jermain, he's up into the air. Kuang should be able to land easily here on the backside and secure this kill. No, there's a nice arrow out of Zyrhoes there. That Spirit Arrow going to secure the kill. I'm sorry, the World Weaver ultimate. Maniakk, he's maybe dead. Ultimate's down. No, without any damage coming in from Gods, he should be able to take up the rest of the tower here. Walk right out, and that activates Sun Wukong passive, giving him a whole bunch of extra protection.
Crit. He can crit.
And crit.
Not going to crit the tower, but crit is available for Sun Wukong now that he's got that passive rolling. And Fnatic, this is as strong as we've seen them all season, Bart.
I got to tell you, I don't think that it's been a while since we've seen a team not in the first or second place position win a game with Freya, at least for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Freya just has not had a great showing. I feel like she's, once again, really overvalued and more of a pub stomper in this split of SPL. I mean, she has tremendous item-based scaling. Like, she's one of the best late-game gods, but we're just not seeing the games go that late.
Yeah, I think that I think that Freya is valued correctly. I think she is very potent, but you have to be able to have that skill set in order to bring it. Jermain has played well on traditional hunters, Freya not really being his forte, so, I mean, it's just not working out for this Myrmidons squad, unfortunately for them this time around. Fnatic, though, they do pick up the first Phoenix of the game on that left-hand side, and as we usually note, that's the most important one, because if you want to defend it, you will be so far away from the fire giant that will inevitably be pulled at some point.
And they just keep that push rolling. Yeah, that Phoenix down. Yeah, opens up the map tremendously for them. You see the warding on the right side of the map from Myrmidons. They're trying to protect the Odin for now, but Odin, he doesn't have another power spike. Like, there's not going to be a moment where all of a sudden Odin comes in and the fight changes. Oh my god, Odin. Maybe he gets the crucial ring that sets up some kills. But
that's what it is. I mean, Odin is like old Thanatos, where Thanatos' role was early stomp, and then late game he's just an ultimate execute bot. That's what we see out of Odin. He's an early stomp, literally with the bird bomb jump, and then late game is just, what can you deny with a ring? What healer can you shut down with the ring? Zero. You know, what objective can you set up with the ring? That's what Odin has become, and it's not working out for his team.
Yeah, and who can you effectively trap? Okay, the Khepri and the Neith, I guess. But neither of those are really who's making the difference in the fights now.
Right.
It's all Sun Wukong, Kuang, and Anhur. Psiyo, well, a little off the mark there with a pin with Zyrhoes, and Psiyo going ult on through, but the positioning is just godlike from Realzx. That was unbelievable.
That is a setup play. They force Janus in a certain direction. They have the hunter lying in wait, and as soon as he walks out of the door, greeted by a couple of spears, Realzx and the team on the same page.
That's the hottest play I think I've ever seen. I mean, because he didn't even pin him. He just body blocked him and handed him to death.
Just waited. I mean, it's just like they body blocked him the last time.
Oh, man.
Preventing the exit. This time preventing the exit.
Three-man Mez, three-man ultimate from Bellona as well, but everyone's leaping out of the ring. Zyrhoes, he's just fine. He'll backflip right on out.
One more shot.
Realzx, he's in position yet again. He always seems to be in the right spot. Picks up the kill on Bellona. This could very well be the game for Fnatic. 3 members down. Psiyo will be back up shortly. They'll take their Phoenix and run. Fire Giant is available, as is a tier 2 on the right side.
Fnatic going to play this safely. They understand that Myrmidons, although they are down by a large point, 14,000 gold or so, still respecting their opponent. And as we said, the Fire Giant going to be pushed, but take a look at Freya. That's the power of what Fnatic did earlier. Freya and Psiyo forced to stay on that left-hand side of the map. No one can even think about contesting the Fire Giant outside of a, Hail Mary from the Janus. And 14-3, Bart, Fnatic looking very much in their old form.
Yeah, it's certainly a very one-sided game here, and Fnatic answering the question of, do they still have what it takes to be a top team in Europe, and at least through game 1 versus Myrmidons, who is a top contender for, I wouldn't say they're challenging Epsilon just yet, but
sure.
I mean they're knocking on the door of those 3rd through 5th place teams.
As I said, I mean, Fnatic was the #1 team. Epsilon sort of surprised everybody and came in, but don't forget, Fnatic has been the #1 team for 2 splits in a row. This is what they do, and as I said, CaptainTwig was in a slump, and that's going to affect the team a lot. Thor showed up last week, Bellona showed up right before that, and here, Kuang, 3-1-8, but as you said, his impact on this game has been very, very high early on.
Yeah, I think what I like the most out of CaptainTwig's play so far this game has been his aggressiveness and his confidence. I mean, he's blinked into towers a couple of times as the Kuang, and successfully executed, and I think that's a far cry from some of the performances we've seen from him earlier in the split.
Exactly. I mean, that's part of when you're in a slump. You're not doing too well. You're gonna be a little hesitant. You're gonna be timid to pull off these confidence plays. This 1-man versus 3 blink under the tower that we saw in that left lane wouldn't have happened 2 weeks ago, I don't think, Bart. But here, getting a little wind beneath his wings, coming on in, feeling it. CaptainTwig able to make the early game and the mid-game fights, and then transition, just hand the game off to the hunter, as is the plan. And Anhur now really cleaning things up in the late game.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they've kind of always been that second best online team in Europe. There's always been that one kind of thorn in the paw for them. They have gone on to win some lands, but it's been challenging, at least in the online play for them somewhat. They've ended up second, I think, in the last 2 splits. So all things told here, they're really they do actually, I think, need to prove still that they're a tier 1 team in this split.
I agree.
They haven't had a very good opening, and Epsilon's kind of taken their place, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Titan still seems to be able to execute at that level pretty regularly. And Epsilon looks very, very good, and Fnatic is kind of the big question mark here. Are they still that caliber of squad?
Right now, they're certainly answering it, forcing LeMoGow to jump and use the ultimate. Realzx is going to answer in turn with one of his own. CaptainTwig takes out the Freya without much problem, and the crits are all over the place. CaptainTwig pops up his ultimate to secure the second part of his double kill. Maniakk gets one on Psiyo, and the entirety of Myrmidons sans Dardez is down. And with that, Fnatic will take out the Titan for game 1.
Yeah, that'll do it. Just like that, Fnatic, it all started with that one Phoenix over there on the left side. Once they got that, it seemed pretty much all written that those second two Phoenixes were gonna come down.
Oh yeah.
And they flexed their muscles pretty well there, I'll say. They got that small advantage right around the early stages of the mid game, like right when the laning phase ended. Fnatic really started to shine, and they kept on forcing those 3-4 man fights that we talked about. They didn't ever really have to team fight proper versus Myrmidons.
Exactly, and I mean that's for as much as we'll take a look at First Blood, which actually went the way of Myrmidons, who had the early not just 1 but 2 kills over here in the dual lane. For as much as we've mentioned CaptainTwig for being the reason this squad has lost in the past, I would be remiss if I didn't mention how much of an impact Twig made for this win here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. As we were talking about right at the end of the game there, his willingness to make those confidence plays and the way that he was playing that Kuang. Granted, I think a lot of players probably do have a high level of confidence on Kuang, considering how strong he is, but Twig doing quite well there for himself. And Zyrhoes mid lane Neith also wasn't talked about a lot, which is probably a good thing. I mean, she kind of sat there, she got her farm, she ulted, set up a few kills in the right side lane for Maniakk and kept LeMoGow down. Not that Odin's necessarily the biggest threat to snowball the game out of control, but altogether, a pretty well-paced victory for Fnatic.
Yeah, did what she had to do. Myrmidons on the other side, I unfortunately did not see what I wanted to see out of the Kumbhakarna. No names, none of the times did we really mention Dardez doing Kumbhakarna things. It brings a lot of control to the table with the giant AoE mezzes, and as I said, the pure damage that can come out if you get the levels on Kumbhakarna with his first ability and the knock-up ultimate. I mean, it just wasn't there.
I think that Kumbha's a fine pick. I think Dardez played it well enough. I just think it wasn't the right pick in this situation. They needed that AoE team fight. They had the initiation kind of on the Kumbha, but you saw notably he blinked in the mid lane to try to set up a mez in the mid game, and it was avoided easily by the Kuang. Wrath of Terra probably doesn't miss there.
Sure.
So, not to mention how good Sylvanas is against Kuang with the long duration dots. I think Sylvanas is really the pick here, if not Geb, over the Kumbha. But it was played well enough. Realzx, of course, is your player of the game. A couple of outstanding plays on him, and also an death column? 8-0-6.
No surprise here. I mean, we see this so often from Realzx. And I mean, you mentioned his positive positioning, right? Where he just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. You do that once or twice, Bart, and that's luck of the draw. This is one of my favorite kills.
Oh, that wasn't blind. He saw it.
Blind. But
yeah, not impressed.
You do that positioning once or twice, Bart, luck of the draw, right? But it's consistent, both when he's low, still staying in the fight, or when he's totally fine, waiting for the opponent to land or be where he's supposed to be. Positioning out of Realzx has always been a high point for him.
Oh, we gotta watch. This is the Janus play coming here after this one. I would think next couple ones. We gotta see. Did he just get lucky, or was he waiting and baiting?
Well, this is the team fight that he stays in very, very low, completely understanding where all of the threats on the board is. Nobody's behind him. No chance.
Oh yeah, totally sees this coming.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
Oh, he did hit him. Jeez.
Just surprise. Absolutely incredible positioning again.
This was a huge initiation. I mean, like, Myrmidons got it. That was the dream right there. That was the 3-man mez into the Bellona ultimate with the Odin ring. Everything went well, except for it just only happened right outside their Phoenix.
When they were down 14,000.
Yeah, when they're already down way too many items for it to matter. Let's take a look at the fantasy points. Alpha Draft top performers for this game, and it is Fnatic. Realzx, 40 points. Pretty good performance out of him, 38.8.
All Fnatic going to be here on the Alpha Draft top performers. They all played well as a team. As you said, we didn't say mid laner's name too much. Zyrhoes not coming up on the broadcast, but it's not necessarily a bad thing when you're Neith.
Just a lot of assists on that.
Exactly. Shoot out your ultimates and sort of secure things. That's kind of what you want to see out of your Neith.